Bonsoir, nous sommes ce soir avec Cas Mudde qui est un des plus grands spécialistes mondiaux de la question du populisme et des partis d'extrême droite, Cas est professeur à l'université de Géorgie aux États-Unis et il est avec nous ce soir pour nous parler plus spécialement du populisme. Cet entretien se déroulera en anglais. Cas, hi. I would ask first question about your definition of populism, because you know, for example, that a very known political scientist in France, Pierre-André Taguieff, defines populism as a style. This is not your definition, so if you could give it to us.
I define populism as an ideology which sees society as being separated in two different categories: the pure people on the one hand and the corrupt elite on the other. And they consider them in a homogeneous groups in an antagonistic relationship. And they want politics to be in line with what they consider the general will of the people. And so I believe that it's not just a style, it is something that truly informs their politics.
And which parties in Europe would you consider as populist? Because you don't say that there are only extreme right populist parties. There are two in far left or radical left. So which are the main parties in Europe and what are their main characteristics, common characteristics?
So there are quite a lot of right-wing populist parties, and they're either parties of the radical right, like Front National, which generally combines populism with authoritarianism, strong law and order policies, as well as with nativism, the idea that their country should only be inhabited by people of their nation and that immigrants are dangerous. You also have some right-wing populist parties that combine it more with a kind of a neoliberal attitude, like the UK Independence Party. Mm-hmm. Then you have left-wing populist parties which combine it with some form of socialism, and Syriza in Greece is a very good example. And then finally you have a small group of almost like idiosyncratic populists, like the Five Star Movement in Italy, which has some aspects that are more progressive and others that are really just difficult to label. What all of them have in common, though, is that they believe that all the other parties are part of one corrupt elite, and they believe that they are the voice of the people as a whole.
And one last question on Marine Le Pen. How do you consider her? Is it possible for you that she will, for example, win the presidential election in the future, and at what conditions? What is at stake with the Front National, which is one of the biggest populist far-right parties in Europe?
Definitely. I mean, one could consider Front National the prototype of populist radical right parties, and you see that many of the others copy them in their slogans and in their strategy. Marine Le Pen has been way more successful than I had predicted, and she has clearly taken control of the party. I believe that in 2017 she will win the first round. I also believe that, like her father in 2002, she will lose the second round. Now, the question is, how long can that continue? And given the fact that there's very little, I would say, rejuvenation on the traditional right and the traditional left, and Front National is a very well-organized party, I would imagine that Marine Le Pen can keep up her success. Now the question is, can the other parties continue to mobilize voters against her rather than in favor of themselves?
So thank you, Cas, for being with us tonight, and je vais reprendre en français pour vous renvoyer pour des précisions sur les livres, sur les publications de Cas, les livres et les articles, ainsi que des liens donc vers le site de la Fondation sous cette vidéo. Merci, bonsoir.